Imagine this. It's your very last day on earth. You open your eyes, and suddenly, you're standing before Jesus Christ. There is complete silence. No money, no fame, no followers, no second chances. Just you and Jesus. Then he looks into your eyes and asks one question. Did you truly love me, or did you only know about me? At that moment, nothing else matters. Not your job, not your achievements, not even how many times you went to church. Only one thing remains. Did your life truly please Jesus? Here's the shocking truth. Millions of people believe they're following Jesus, yet they may never have understood what he really wants. Some think it's about religion. Others believe it's about good deeds. Many spend their entire lives trying to earn his approval, but Jesus gave a completely different answer. And when you hear what he actually said, it may completely change the way you see your faith forever. So don't skip this video, because by the end, you'll discover the one truth that Jesus himself said matters more than anything else. Let's begin. 1 Emmanuel Witness, Part 1. The man who wanted to please Jesus. Daniel had everything the world said would make him happy. A good job, friends, money, a comfortable life. Yet every night, one question haunted him. If I died tonight, would Jesus be pleased with me? Part 1. The man who wanted to please Jesus. Daniel was 26 years old. To everyone around him, he looked successful. He had a good career, a nice apartment, friends who admired him, and every Sunday, he sat in the front rows of church. People often said, Daniel is a good Christian. But every night, when the lights were off and the room became silent, a single question echoed in his mind. Does Jesus actually know me, or am I just pretending? The question wouldn't leave him. He tried harder. He started reading the Bible every morning. He volunteered at church. He gave money to charities. He stopped doing things he knew were wrong. The emptiness remained. It felt as if he was climbing a mountain, but never reaching the top. One rainy evening, after work, Daniel walked through the streets with his head down. His heart felt heavier than ever. Without realizing it, he stopped in front of a small old church. The lights inside were still on. Something in his heart whispered, "Go inside." He slowly opened the wooden door. The church was almost empty. Only one elderly man sat quietly near the altar. He wasn't preaching. He wasn't singing. He was simply reading his Bible. As Daniel turned to leave, the old man looked up, smiled, and softly said, "I've been praying that someone would walk through that door tonight." Daniel froze. "You were praying for me?" The old man smiled again, maybe not by name, but yes. Daniel sat beside him. For several moments, neither of them spoke. Finally, Daniel broke the silence. "I've spent years trying to please Jesus, but I still feel like I'm never enough." The old pastor closed his Bible. He looked directly into Daniel's eyes. Then he asked one question, a question Daniel had never heard before. "Daniel, are you trying to earn Jesus' love, or are you living because he already loves you?" Daniel couldn't answer, because for the first time, he realized he didn't know the difference. The pastor smiled gently. "Then let me tell you a story Jesus himself once told." Part 2. The story that changed everything. The old pastor leaned back in his chair and quietly said, "Daniel, let me tell you a story that Jesus told thousands of years ago. There were two men who went to the temple to pray. The first man was a religious leader. He stood where everyone could see him. With confidence, he prayed, 'God, thank you that I am not like other people. I fast, I give money, I obey the law. Surely you must be pleased with me.' Then the pastor paused. Now look at the second man. He wasn't standing in front. He stayed in the back. His head was bowed. He couldn't even lift his eyes toward heaven. Instead, he whispered through tears, "God, have mercy on me. I know I'm a sinner." Daniel listened carefully. The pastor continued, "Now tell me, Daniel, which man do you think walked away pleasing God?" Daniel thought for a moment. "The first one, because he did everything right." The pastor smiled gently. "That's what most people think. But Jesus said it was the second man." Daniel looked shocked. "Why?" The pastor opened his Bible. "Because God isn't impressed by people who try to prove how good they are. He welcomes those who come to him with humble hearts." The pastor continued, "Many people spend their lives trying to impress Jesus with religious activities. But Jesus never asked people to impress him. He asked them to follow him." Those words hit Daniel deeply. For the first time, he realized that his relationship with Jesus had become a competition, always trying to be good enough, always wondering if he had done enough, always living with fear. The pastor looked at him and said, "Daniel, you don't obey Jesus so that he will love you. You obey Jesus because he already loves you." Tears slowly filled Daniel's eyes. Years of guilt, years of fear, years of trying to earn God's approval began to fall away. But the pastor wasn't finished. He leaned closer and asked, "Would you like to know the one thing Jesus said matters more than anything else?" Daniel nodded. "More than anything." Part 3. The one thing Jesus wants most. The pastor slowly opened his Bible one last time. He looked at Daniel and said, "One day, someone asked Jesus the most important question anyone could ask. 'Teacher, what is the greatest commandment?' Jesus answered, 'Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself.'" The pastor closed the Bible. "Daniel, did you hear what Jesus didn't say? He didn't say, 'Be the richest.' He didn't say, 'Become famous.' He didn't even say, 'Be perfect.' He said, 'Love God, love people.'" Daniel sat silently. For years, he had been trying to earn Jesus' approval through performance. Now he realized Jesus wanted his heart before he wanted his achievements. The pastor smiled. Think about a loving father. Does he want his child to perform perfectly every day? No. He wants his child to trust him, love him, and walk with him. That's exactly what Jesus wants from us. That night, Daniel returned home. He didn't feel the need to impress anyone anymore. He walked into his room, knelt beside his bed, closed his eyes, and whispered, "Jesus, I've spent years trying to earn your love. Today, I finally understand. You loved me first. Take my heart, change my life, and teach me to follow you every single day." For a moment, everything was silent. No bright light filled the room. No voice came from heaven. But something inside Daniel had changed forever. The fear was gone. The burden was gone. For the first time in years, his heart was filled with peace. Over the following months, his friends noticed something different. He became more patient, more forgiving, more compassionate. When people insulted him, he responded with kindness. When someone needed help, he was the first to step forward. Not because he wanted people to admire him, but because the love of Jesus had changed his heart. One afternoon, a coworker finally asked, "Daniel, what's different about you?" Daniel smiled and answered, "I stopped trying to make Jesus love me and started living because I discovered he already does." Powerful ending. So, how do you truly please Jesus? Not by pretending to be perfect, not by wearing the title of a Christian, not by trying to impress the world. You please Jesus when you trust him, when you love him with all your heart, when you forgive others, even when it's difficult, when you show kindness, even when no one is watching, when you obey him, not out of fear, but out of love. Because Jesus isn't searching for perfect people. He's searching for hearts that are willing to follow him. And maybe today, that heart is yours. If this message touched your heart, write "Jesus, I give you my heart" in the comments. Subscribe for more faith-filled stories, and share this video with someone who needs hope today. May God bless you.